This morning, one man is charged with two people were found in the Fort Wayne River.
So a probable cause affidavit said the victims were confidential informants, but Richmond police now say they were not informants.
In El Sereno, a federal informant has been found in the grounds of Woodrow Wilson High School. The family of 45-year-old Valentin Broeksmit had reported him missing to the LAPD.
A Rockford felon is found guilty of police informant. 27-year-old Preston Scott shot and Foley on Oregon Avenue back in April of 2020.
Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the shocking and often untold stories of crime, betrayal, and the pursuit of justice. In today's episode, we dive into some of the most harrowing cases involving police informants, drug dealers, and high-profile investigations. From the tragic demise of a Rockford police informant to the brutal double deletion in Fort Wayne and the mysterious demise of a federal informant tied to Deutsche Bank and former President Trump, these cases highlight the dangerous world of crime, corruption, and the ultimate price, paid by those caught in its web.
A Rockford felon is found guilty of a police informant. 27-year-old Preston Scott shot David Foley on Oregon Avenue back in April of 2020. Foley had worked as a confidential informant for the Rockford Police Department and bought undercover from Scott.
In a chilling turn of events, a Rockford man has been convicted for the brutal 2020 demise of a police informant. This case exposes the dangerous world of drug deals, betrayal, and a relentless pursuit of justice. Preston Scott, 27, was found guilty of first-degree deletion and unlawful use of a weapon by a felon after a harrowing trial. The victim, David Foley, had been working as a confidential informant for the Rockford Police Department when tragedy struck. During an undercover operation in April 2020, Foley was fatally shot on Oregon Avenue while attempting to purchase drugs from Scott, who had an outstanding warrant related to that very drug case. Prosecutors revealed Scott's violent criminal past, and now he faces a grim future. Scott's conviction carries a sentence of 45 to 85 years behind bars for the deletion with no chance of parole, and an additional 3 to 14 years for the unlawful possession of a firearm. This case highlights the dangerous intersection of crime, drugs, and law enforcement's battle to bring justice to those who risk everything to make our streets safer.
Morning, one man is charged with murder after two people were found dead in a Fort Wayne River.
So a probable cause affidavit said the victims were confidential informants, but Richmond police now say they were not informants.
However, Richmond police posted last night on social media that Matthew Johnson and Christina Dixon were not informants. Detectives originally said that the two led police to a home involved in a drug raid back on September 10th. After the raid, police say they were looking for Dominique Washington, a, quote, known drug dealer.
In a horrifying discovery, two bodies were found in Fort Wayne River. The victims, Christina Dixon, 40, and Matthew Johnson, 41, had been brutally met their demise. A known drug dealer, 29-year-old Dominique Washington, has been arrested in connection with their demise. Washington, now facing multiple felony deletion charges and kidnapping charges, is being held without bond. The bodies were discovered by volunteers cleaning the St. Mary's River, sparking a major investigation. Evidence soon led detectives to Washington, who had reportedly lured Dixon and Johnson into a vehicle, abducted them, and ultimately deleted them before disposing of their bodies. Court documents revealed chilling details of how cell phone data and surveillance footage helped police track the victims' last movements. This case uncovers the dangerous world of drugs, crime, and violence, with shocking details of how a known drug dealer orchestrated a heinous double deletion.
In El Sereno, a federal informant has been found on the grounds of Woodrow Wilson High School. The family of 45-year-old Valentin Broeksmit had reported him missing to the LAPD. He was last seen on April 6th at Griffith Park, driving a red Mini Cooper. Woodrow Wilson High School police say they have no video or evidence that shows him coming onto campus, so they don't know how long his body has been there. There's no word yet.
In a tragic and mysterious twist, Valentin Broeksmit, a key informant involved in investigations related to Deutsche Bank and its ties to former President Donald Trump, met his demise on the campus of an El Sereno high school. The 45-year-old, who had described himself as a comically terrible spy, was discovered by a cleaning crew early Monday morning at Woodrow Wilson High School. Broeksmit, who had been missing for over a year, had a complicated past. He provided crucial documents to federal investigators and journalists linking Deutsche Bank to Russia and potentially Trump's financial dealings. These documents were left behind by his late stepfather, a former Deutsche Bank executive who died in 2014. However, Broeksmit had struggled with drug abuse, and those close to him, including investigative journalist Scott Stedman, believed that this may have played a role in his demise. Although an official cause of his demise has yet to be determined, no foul play is currently suspected. Friends and journalists who stayed in contact with Broeksmit during his disappearance expressed sadness, highlighting his struggles and his troubled relationship with the past. His demise brings an end to a man who is at the center of high-profile investigations, but also haunted by personal demons.
Sentences for 5 convicted gang members kicks off tonight's speed feed.
Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard calls their crime the most brutal in recent Atlanta history. These 5 men were convicted of Christopher Dean, who used to be a police informant in California. Dean was tortured and they found out who he was.
In one of the most horrifying and brutal cases in recent history, gang members from the notorious Gangster Disciples carried out a gruesome deletion in Atlanta, Georgia, as a message to anyone considering becoming a police informant. On October 17, 2016, Christopher Lockett lured 33-year-old Robert Dean to the home of Xavier and Orlando Gibson under the guise of a routine drug deal. However, Lockett had learned that Dean had once worked as a police witness in California, a fact that sealed his fate. Prosecutors revealed that Lockett, along with other gang members, devised a sinister plan to torture Dean to make an example out of him. Dean's demise was intended to send a deadly message to others within the gang that cooperating with law enforcement would not be tolerated. After his demise, Joshua Rooks and other accomplices were tasked with cleaning up the crime scene and disposing of Dean's body and car. Despite their efforts to cover up the crime, Atlanta police later recovered Dean's body, and all 7 individuals involved were arrested. In the trial that followed, Lockett and his accomplices were found guilty of Dean's demise, felony deletion, and participating in criminal street gang activity. Lockett was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, while other gang members received life sentences for their roles in the brutal crime. This case highlights the deadly consequences of betraying criminal organizations and serves as a grim reminder of the lengths gangs will go to protect their operations. These stories reveal the grim reality of life as a police informant and the brutal consequences of crossing paths with dangerous criminals. Whether it's the relentless pursuit of justice for those who lost their lives or the ongoing investigations into criminal networks, each case offers a chilling reminder of the risks involved in trying to bring down powerful individuals and organizations.